January 23, 2002, a team of Green Berets from Company Alpha 1st Battalion 5th Special Forces Group received orders from U.S. Central Command to conduct a night raid on a suspected al-Qaeda compound in a remote area of southern Afghanistan. The compound was an old schoolhouse al-Qaeda had taken over and turned into their primary base of operations in the area. The plan was for the Green Berets to sneak into the compound in the dead of night while the enemy was sleeping and clear the building of all hostile forces. Once the enemy was dealt with, they would search the compound for any useful intelligence they could get their hands on and be back home before breakfast. But unfortunately, as per usual with these types of combat operations, things didn't go according to plan. When the Green Berets arrived on target, somehow the enemy was wide awake and ready for them. As soon as the team entered the front door, the mother of all firefights kicked off. It was mass chaos and confusion. The team immediately returned fire and began aggressively clearing the building, splitting off in different directions to clear a multitude of classrooms inside the building, each classroom full of armed hostile fighters that were supposed to be sleeping. Master Sergeant Anthony Pryor and one of his teammates were about to enter their first classroom when suddenly an enemy fighter charged out of the room and attempted to tackle Pryor, but the Green Beret was able to drop the man just before he could reach him. Meanwhile, Pryor's teammate was engaged with another enemy fighter attempting to flank them from outside the building, so Pryor had no choice but to enter and clear the classroom alone. Inside the room, he found 3 armed fighters with their backs turned to him. They were aiming their weapons out of a large window, preparing to ambush some of the Green Berets who hadn't made entry yet. So Pryor quickly mag dumped into the 3 men, dropping them all instantly. With the room now cleared, Pryor took a knee to do a quick mag change. But while he was reloading his weapon, an enemy fighter who had been hiding behind the door snuck up behind Pryor and hit him in the back with a large metal pipe, breaking his collarbone and dislocating his shoulder. The man then jumped on Pryor's back, ripped off his night vision, and began jamming his fingers into Pryor's eyes. But Pryor wasn't going down without a fight. He grabbed hold of the man on his back and threw him over his head, slamming him into the ground in front of him. He slammed the enemy fighter so hard, it knocked his own dislocated shoulder back into place. And with both arms now back into the fight, he quickly eliminated the hostile fighter with his bare hands. But unfortunately, the fight wasn't quite over yet. Pryor fumbled in the dark trying to get his helmet and night vision back on, and thankfully he got his nods on just in time to see the men he thought he took care of when he first entered the room still alive and crawling towards their weapons. So Pryor quickly reached for his rifle and took out the 3 men. With that room now cleared, Pryor simply exited the room and joined his teammates to finish clearing the rest of the building. He didn't mention anything about his broken collarbone or the terrifying situation he just survived until they were back at base much later that night. By the time the dust settled, 21 enemy soldiers had been eliminated, and all of the Americans were alive. Several years later, in 2007, Pryor was awarded the Silver Star for his actions that night. During the ceremony, Major General Jeffrey Lambert, Commanding General of the U.S. Army Special Forces Command, said, "This is the singular hand-to-hand combat story that I have heard from this war. When it came time to play, he played, and he did it right." I wasn't really able to find any photos of Pryor that really do it justice, but some of his teammates that were there that night have spoken about him in interviews, and they describe him as being an outrageously large man, which, going off of how quickly and easily he eliminated that hostile fighter despite his injuries, makes a lot of sense. And the fact that he was able to reach over his head and throw that dude onto the ground despite having a dislocated shoulder and a broken collarbone is insane, let alone the fact that he slammed that dude in the ground so hard that it knocked his own freaking shoulder back into place. This is one of the craziest stories I've ever told, and it's wild, dude. But with all that, guys, that's gonna be the end of the video. Thank you so much for checking out the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do me a favor and hit that like button. It helps me share these incredible stories with more people, and I really appreciate it. But now that you're done watching this video, guys, get off your phone or whatever Chinese-made device you're watching this on and go spend some time with your family and go to the gym, fellas. Fitness and health in general is so important, so make it a priority. And above all else, read your Bible and spend some time in prayer. Mental health and physical health are incredibly important, but spiritual health is the foundation you guys need to build good mental and physical health. If you've never read the Bible, that's totally fine. All the more reason to try it. You've got nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain. But anyway, guys, enough of me blabbering on. I'm sure I'll get a lot of hate for saying all that, but it's whatever. I want you dudes to live long, happy, and healthy lives, so I gotta say my stuff at the end. But anyway, guys, with all that, I'm ending this video. But I hope you all have an amazing day. Thank you so much again for watching the video, and I will see you all in the next video.